I'm Logan Crawford, and right now on the Spotlight Network, we're diving into a powerful true story about identity, adoption, and the lifelong journey toward healing and self-discovery. It is a deeply moving memoir called Passion, Purpose, Peace. It's written by Nicole Mescia, and she reflects on the emotional complexities of family, belonging, and resilience through raw storytelling and heartfelt insight.
Mm.
Nicole shows us how love and purpose can transform even the most painful past into a meaningful and peaceful present. We're delighted to have this very talented author join us here today on Spotlight, and we ask viewers like you to support authors like her by subscribing to our channel and by purchasing her amazing book. The links are below the interview. And be sure to download the Spotlight Network TV app streaming on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire TV. Nicole, thank you so much for joining me here today on Spotlight.
Oh, the pleasure's mine. Thank you so much.
It's my pleasure as well to have you on the show. Let's talk about your childhood because your book deals with that,
Yeah.
obviously. Um, Being adopted, did it influence your understanding of identity? Tell us its impact on you.
Oh, very much so. It was a closed adoption, and
Mhm.
I didn't understand how much that would affect sort of the wiring in my brain
Yeah,
because the first 6 years of your life is your subconscious programming. And
right.
so, not really knowing about your identity, your story, where you came from, it kind of was like a missing piece that I grew up with until I was able to face that. And then I actually met my birth family and got my answers. And that really filled that hole inside me, along with my healing journey. So I was very grateful for that.
Always curious about reunions like that. What was that like? How did it come about, the reunion with your birth family? When you say birth family, you mean your mother, father, siblings, all of that?
Yes. So I was raised by a beautiful Sicilian family. I was an only child. I loved the family I was raised with, but I always had that nagging in the back of my mind, like, why was I given up? Who do I look like? Where do I get some of my traits from? And it was just sort of like a struggle throughout my life on my identity. So I was able to sort of go into different groups and different people and nationalities, and I was able to connect with so many different people, almost trying to find myself in a way.
Mhm.
And so when I left the medical field and I walked out on faith and bought my farm, I decided to do ancestry DNA just to see kind of like what am I made of? Like
Yeah.
where what am I? And so I got that and I was so surprised because I am definitely a mix of all sorts of different things, Italian, French, Irish, and then a little bit of Ashkenazi, Papua New Guinea and Aborigine. I was like, oh my gosh.
You're a
It was
League of
like
Nations.
yes.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm like, no wonder I get along with so many people.
that's
And
great.
then when I was looking down, I saw a match
Mhm.
and I kind of stopped, and it was a 98% DNA match.
Wow.
And yeah. And so I reached out to that person, and he was reaching out to me. And that was my birth dad's brother. So my uncle.
Mhm.
And within minutes, I got a picture of my birth dad who had passed, but I was looking at almost like a mirror image of me. I looked so much like my birth dad that, like, all of a sudden, it was like, oh my gosh, this is where I came from. This is my story. And it was so instrumental for me on my healing journey to really get that information.
Yeah, that must have been absolutely mind-blowing to get that picture sent to you on your
Yeah.
phone, I presume. Like,
Yeah.
oh, by the way, this is your dad. Then to
Right.
look at him and he looks like you.
Yeah.
I mean, wow. Hey,
It
tell
was.
me about the meeting with your mom. Did you meet with your mom eventually?
Yes. So I went up to upstate New York and I found out I have five half siblings.
Mhm.
And so I met all of them and I got the story and I connected with them. And the funniest thing is, I was in my aunt and my sister's house. I look very much like them.
Mhm.
And just even a simple thing of, I'll leave the refrigerator open if I'm in the kitchen. And so I had my friend with me, and he's like, Nicole, you left the refrigerator door open like you always do. And then I looked at my sister, and she goes, I do that too. And so did dad. And we just started laughing. And it's
That's
just
funny.
amazing that you can have nature and nurture, and both of them are really important, when you grow up, because cells do have memory.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. So you got all this information now, a lot of answers questions answered.
Yeah.
Um, do you feel like you grew up like a little, I don't want to use the wrong word, but like wounded, a little
Oh,
sad, a little, tell
yeah.
me about that.
Very much so. So I tried to prove my worth in the external world. So everything I did, I was trying to prove myself. And because I couldn't really fix that longing inside, I just
Mhm.
didn't have the answers or support at that time to know, growing up at that time, they didn't really know about the subconscious brain and the conscious brain and how to get somatically to really address your nervous system.
Mhm.
So I just started just going for the gold, and I swam in the Junior Olympics and placed,
Wow.
and then went into being a headhunter, and then went to medical devices. And I eventually got into brain, where I was gently guiding surgeons how to use my devices. And I
Mm,
was hitting my ranks, commissions, awards, but all of that wasn't addressing in here.
mm.
And so I finally started doing my healing journey, and I wanted to get a farm to, bring people together to understand these tools and modalities. So I walked out in faith and bought a farm and started rescuing animals and having wellness retreats and all sorts of, and we
Wow.
started growing hemp. I was the first hemp grower in my county. I just,
Wow, amazing. So this farm's in North Carolina.
yes.
Is it open to the public? It almost sounds like it's an attraction because you've got unique things there. And I know, I'll give a little spoiler alert. I understand you just adopted a zebra.
Zebras, yes. Her
That's
name
as
is Zara.
crazy and as exotic as it gets. You know what I mean? So that's wonderful, though. So
Thank you.
tell me about what's on your farm besides the zebra, which is huge.
Oh, well, this is an interesting story. So I took the farm as far as I could grow it. I adopted the animals. We did 4 Airbnbs. And I got to a point where I was like, okay, I've taken it as far as I can. And then I had an offer come in. And
Mhm.
so I sold the farm, but I'm friends with the new owners, and we're able to board my zebra and Daisy the donkey and a horse there. And so I'm
Amazing.
still very connected, and we do wellness retreats and gatherings, and there's Airbnbs so people can still come out and stay. And so I'm about 15 minutes from the farm, but
Mm.
I dove into this somatic healing work and
Mhm.
writing my story to see if I could help another person not feel so lost out there.
Wonderful. Let's give the folks at home an overview of your book. What will they find
Yes.
in the book?
Oh my goodness. Okay. Well, it does start with sort of my journey of trying to figure out who I was, with my identity,
Hmm.
and then going into just striving as much as I could, to get some sort of closure.
Hmm.
And that's when I found it on the farm. I found it by really giving back.
Hmm.
I dove into, very root cause tools and modalities, because we were doing stuff so new. We got a lot of attention,
Hmm.
good and bad. So there are parts in there that were very challenging and difficult to go through. But by the grace of God and doing these tools, I started getting into the Dr. Joe Dispenza work, which
Hmm.
was life changing. And I also realized I was angry, at God my whole life in a way,
Yeah.
for, what I'd gone through. And I surrendered to God. And then I just started seeing tables turning and magic happening like I've never seen before. And now
Wow.
I'm here with you.
Yeah. Well, that's wonderful. That's wonderful. So your faith has been really a key component into, feeling completely healed, right?
Yes. Yes, I am night and day a different person
Mm.
by doing the work. I do a lot of heart brain coherence, a lot of
Mhm.
somatic nervous system regulation, because when you can regulate your nervous system, it will rewire your brain, and then you feel better. And when you feel better, your life looks better, because we attract in what we are, not what we want. So
Yeah.
when you do that work and take that time for yourself, you start seeing synchronicities and magic happen. And I actually tested it. I said, I want a zebra. And it took me a couple years, but I have a zebra now. So,
That goes to show you can do whatever you want because you would think that people aren't even allowed to own zebras because it's too exotic or endangered. I mean, there's a million rules. I mean, I always wanted a monkey, but I don't have a monkey. I have
I
a
did
crazy
babysit a
dog.
monkey before. So,
Okay, that's close enough. Babysitting a monkey is probably better than owning a monkey. It's like
yes,
grandchildren, you can give them back, which is great
right.
as well. Wonderful, wonderful. Tell us a little bit about your work in somatics.
Oh, yes. So I went through the training to get certified to be a somatic therapist.
Hmm.
So I work with people one on one and also in group settings and just educating them because a lot of people are running on subconscious programs. So they'll get triggered in their body and they don't realize it's going back to their childhood.
Yep.
So when you're able to really, in a safe place, how people feel, because you have to feel it to heal it. When they can actually get to that place, they start feeling better and they see that they can change their life. They're not a slave to sort of those triggers and projections. It's all about self awareness.
Wonderful, wonderful. We talked a little bit about Zara the zebra, but you're writing a book about her. So
Yes.
tell us about that.
Yes. And so I want to kind of show children how they can connect back to their heart and feel better about themselves. And then I'm
Hmm.
thinking also, well, the parents are maybe reading it to the children, then they're also kind of saying, oh, wow, this might help me as well. I'm just really trying to give back because I know what it's like to struggle and
Hmm.
I know what it's like to go through the darkness. And I know that there's magic and lessons and blessings on the other side of trauma, and I just want to be able to get that story out. And so I
Yeah.
thought this might be a cute way to do it.
Well, that sounds great. It's a very positive way to do it. And I think it'd be a fascinating story because it's a real story too.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me ask you this. You said your adoptive parents were great. Your birth parents has been a great reunion. Is there any advice you would give to an adoptive parent to make
Yes.
their child's struggles less hard?
Yes.
What,
Yes.
what, what would that be?
Okay, so there is a really good book that I would recommend. It's 25 things every adopted child wishes their adoptive parent knew. And it's all about letting that child feel and talk about it and also grieve because a lot of parents aren't equipped. They think, oh, I've got this child, I've wanted a child, I'm just going to love this child.
Yeah.
But that child, when they were taken from their birth mom, what lights up in the brain is sort of like PTSD. So there's a trauma response. So you have to sort of address that
Yeah.
and let that child talk about it and support them. It'll help wonders. And that book is a great resource if people wanted to check it out and see how they can best support their child.
Sounds great. Was there an age when your adopted parents told you were adopted, or did they just throughout your life let you know so it kind of felt natural?
Well, the interesting, I knew before they told me. I
Hmm.
remember I would be riding in the car with them, and my first memory is looking up at the stars and saying, knowing these are really nice people, but where are my parents? And
Hmm.
that was when I was really young. And so when they finally told me, I already knew.
Yeah.
So yeah, they were
Amazing.
very supportive, but yeah, I already knew.
It's amazing. It's amazing what we know innately,
Yes.
and
Yeah.
people discount that, but you shouldn't.
No.
That little voice in your head is often right, and it's often right for a reason. Well, wonderful. Well, you've done a great work with this book. It is called Passion, Purpose, Peace. In it, Nicole reflects upon the emotional complexities of family, belonging, and resilience, and she does it through raw storytelling and heartfelt insight. She shows us how love and purpose can transform even the most painful past into a meaningful and peaceful present. Nicole, thank you so much for joining us here today on Spotlight.
Thank you so much. It was a pleasure being here.
Such a pleasure having you on the show. To the folks at home, I'm Logan Crawford, thanking you for your time this time. Until next time on Spotlight.